burning topic of discussion. Everyone is talking about it. Everybody has their opinion. That is school reopening. There are some people who are pro it. There are some parents who are very much against it. So much so that a PIL has been filed in the court and the case hearing is still going on. So, firstly, why schools should reopen? Many parents are of the opinion, okay, we can make our child do online classes, we can help her or him out. Why should we take the chance of sending our child to school? Now, let me tell you one thing, that school is not responsible for academic learning alone. School is very important for a child's physical, psychological, social growth. The number of children that I am seeing who are having psychological issues, who are having social adjustment issues, right from younger children to older children, many younger children are not developing speech adequately because they are not interacting with the children of their own age group. And older children are also facing many issues. Now you may ask, how physical growth? Now we are seeing an increasing number of children who are overweight, who are obese, and obviously if a child will go to school, there will be fixed times of eating. Now at home, even in between online class, children can move out, go to the cupboard, pick out a biscuit packet, have one or two biscuits, they can munch on some chips. It's a very easy to get attracted to junk food when the child is at home, whereas in school with the strict discipline, the timely food timings, you will give a certain tiffin to the child. These things will not be there. And of course, learning is being impacted. So it may not be impacted for people who have access to Wi-Fi's and computers. But what about a large number of children for whom the only source of learning is the school? There has been a recent study by the Azim Premji Foundation which says that children not only have not acquired any new knowledge in the last 18 months, but even what they had learned previously, that knowledge has been lost to them. So you imagine, already in India the rich poor divide is big. Now these are parents who are trying to educate their children. Now because of this prolonged closure of government schools, they are not getting any education. So definitely schools have to reopen, and this is not just in India. I don't know why people are reacting as if the Telangana government has come up with this. All over the world, and I'm not talking about countries like Singapore, Australia, where the cases were pretty much in control, but even countries like UK, US, where there were large number of cases, schools have never been permanently shut. Maybe on and off they shut them down based on the large number of cases. In fact, surprisingly, in US right now, a major, large number of cases of COVID are being seen. Still, schools, daycares are functioning. Of course, I feel the choice can be left to the parents. Those parents who are initially apprehensive to send, they can have some live streaming of the sessions in the school, and the children who are okay to send, then they can send the child. Also, how schools and how we as parents can take this forward is, we can maybe ask the school to call half the class one day, half the class the other day, so that there can be gap left between seats. And another good idea would be to have these physical barricades between the benches. So you have these very cheaply available. They are not at all expensive. In government schools also these can be provided. These plastic barriers can be made in between tables, so that even if a teacher is talking and a teacher by chance while teaching comes a bit closer to the child has a safety barricade in place. Major concern for parents is, at home we can make sure child is wearing mask, child is following COVID appropriate behavior. What about school? So I agree to that. That may be a challenge for younger children, but I feel for older children they can be totally explained, and you keep re-emphasizing on that. And don't be so particular about certain types of masks. Now certain parents, they will insist that my child should wear N95 mask. Now the child may feel so uncomfortable in a N95 that the child will just pull down her or his mask, as compared to a child who's wearing a simple cloth mask or a surgical mask. She may not feel uncomfortable, so she may never pull down the mask. So she is more protected than a child who went in an N95 but was not able to continue wearing it. So I would recommend you can give your child, provide your child with some extra masks. So if the child is feeling say suffocated with the N95, they can switch to a surgical mask in maybe classes where the social distancing is more, or in outdoor classes, and face shields. So children who are just not ready to wear masks, there are many adults also like that. So let's not say it's just about children. They can wear face shields. Face shields are also very effective in controlling the droplets. So you get nice face shields which completely cover the face, and they are more comfortable for some children. Other thing that we as parents can do is we can have a meeting with the school committee. Now, of course, it's not possible for parents of 3,000, 4,000 children to go and meet the principal at once. But maybe each class can have a parent representative, and they can meet the school principal or the school management and discuss certain pertinent points. All teachers, all staff, all IRs, all bus drivers, right now, most of the schools have not started transport, but there is no option. They will ultimately have to start transport if schools need to run successfully in the physical format, in the normal format. So all these people have to be vaccinated, at least one vaccine, but majority of the teachers and the staff should have a double dose of vaccine. This can be checked by the parent representatives. Many people feel, oh, school may say, but it is actually not being done. So why don't some parents take the initiative and go ahead and do that? And as I mentioned, checking whether there are physical barriers between children, those things can also be checked, how they have kept the seating arrangement. And time to time, periodic checks by the parents group can be done. Another thing which you can ensure is that sanitizers are kept in school at frequent places. So maybe at the entrance, in each classroom, in each row, one sanitizer is kept. Obviously, you should try to send your child with their individual sanitizers also, but make sure that the school is providing sanitizers at very frequent intervals so that it is easy for the child to use. See, many children may not realize the importance of sanitizing their hands frequently. So, but if they will see a sanitizer every few hundred meters, or every, if they just leave the class, they walk out of the door, they see a sanitizer, they may just use it. So these are few things which can be done at the school level, and strict screening of children with symptoms. Now here the responsibility of parents is as much as that of the school. I know for a fact, I have many parents coming to me, the child will be having fever, cough, cold, and they will, when I will suggest, let's go for a COVID test, they will be like, no, 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 I'm sure it's not COVID, it is just a seasonal cold, my child got wet in the rain, that's why he or she got it. Agreed, it may be seasonal cold, I'm not denying it, but when we are facing a pandemic, and you're talking about school reopening, if we as parents don't take the initiative, and we, out of 100 children who have cough and cold, if one of them has COVID, that one can spread to 200 other children in the school, to the teachers, and then this whole school reopening will again be a big flop, and then again parents will be scared. So please, as parents, be responsible. If your child has cough, cold, fever, don't send them to school for at least a period of 10 to 14 days. If you are 100% sure it is not COVID, why don't you get a test done? If test is negative, then you can send the child to school. And school also should monitor all children for symptoms. They should have an isolation room available in the school. For example, I send my child in the school in the morning, and she is perfectly fine. But by afternoon, she develops a fever. Now, by the time I go and pick her up, she cannot be with the other children and teachers. So maybe they can have an isolation room where there can be a nurse who is provided with a basic PPE kit, or at least with basic protection. She can take care of my child till I am able to reach there. So these facilities in times of COVID are very, very important, and parents should check that the school is providing these or not. Now, coming to keeping the children safe during school sessions, how can we do it? So, of course, COVID is a thing to be worried, but let me remind you, most children who get COVID, they are fine, they just get mild symptoms. It is the other viruses, other infections, which are much more dangerous in children and cause more severe symptoms. So, children have not been exposed to viruses for almost 18 months. And when schools will reopen, like we are seeing now also, when children are going out, outside for some holiday, or they are meeting other people, they are getting simple virals, and simple virals also are getting very complicated in certain children. They have to be hospitalized because of the high fevers, severe cough, severe cold, and most of these are not COVID. So your child will be predisposed to these infections. So what can you do to boost your child's immunity to make sure that the child does not get infections as the child goes to school? So firstly, make sure your child's immunization records are up to date. Especially my word of caution for children who for parents whose children are above 4 plus, MMR and chickenpox vaccine dose I am seeing is being missed by many parents. The 3 to 4 year old dose is being missed by many parents. So especially before you start sending your child to school, make sure the vaccines are up to date. The child has received the yearly flu vaccine, because as I said, because children have not been exposed to viruses, their immunity is very low for the older viruses as well. And trust me, viruses like flu and measles and chickenpox are far more dangerous for children than COVID. So firstly, check your child's vaccination records, get them vaccinated up to date, and then only send them to school. Now, secondly, coming to school, what can be done to help them? So you should make sure that the child has a good, healthy breakfast before going for school. So don't make them skip meals. Don't send them without breakfast. Don't pack a small lunch. You wake your child up a bit early. Make sure, because breakfast is very important for a child's immunity. Breakfast, you give them a small glass of milk. You can give them some dosa. If you are non-vegetarian, so you're okay to have egg. You can give them omelette, some like nice filling breakfast. You give them a handful of nuts. For school snacks also, you pack them something good and rich in protein. Again, it can be some vegetables, it can be your egg. If your school is okay to have egg, it can be some fruits, some dry fruits, these things. So a good breakfast is very important. Now, please remember that children have not been in school for a long time. They are not used to the routine anymore. Waking up early, getting ready, eating breakfast, going to school. So, if you find that after sending your child to school for 2 3 days, your child is getting fatigued, especially younger children, children younger than 10 years, give her or him a break of 1 or 2 days in between. Nothing will happen. Let her or him recover from that stress, because suddenly they are at home enjoying, getting up just 5 minutes before the class, eating breakfast during the class. I know children have been doing all sorts of things and taking all sorts of liberties. So just make sure that your child gets adequate rest before school start. Before your child asks them to come and start coming to school, get them in the habit of sleeping early, waking up early, so that they get adequate rest. Adequate sleep is also extremely important for children's immunity. And so these three things are very important. Firstly, vaccines which are up to date. Secondly, a good breakfast, a good diet. And thirdly, adequate sleep and adequate rest. Now, a lot of parents have been asking me, should I give my child some multivitamins, some vitamin C now that schools are reopening? It is not at all required. Just make sure your child is having at least one fruit every day, one vegetable every day, one good quality protein, or at least minimum egg or thick dal, rajma, chana, chole. These are your kidney beans, chickpeas, or so these things. If your child is chicken, fish, if you are non-vegetarian, your child is having this dairy intake of around 400 to 500 ml of milk every day, a fistful of dry fruits every day. That should more or less take care of their multivitamin requirements. If you're worried about vitamin C, you can give them, say, an orange every day, or squeeze a lemon in water and give them lime juice every day. There is no need to separately give them any vitamin C or multivitamins. Yes, one vitamin which you can discuss with your pediatrician before school start is vitamin D, because if your child has mostly been indoors for most of last year, then your child may have developed vitamin D deficiency, and deficiency of vitamin D also suppresses the child's immunity. So discuss with your pediatrician if your child requires vitamin D supplements before schools start. So these things you can check out on. And as I said, as soon as your child shows any signs of any fever, cough, cold, please inform the school. Keep them at home. Now, two reasons for this. First, obviously, as I said, because of COVID, because COVID is highly contagious. Secondly, the child needs to rest and recover from the infection. Don't be in this habit that, oh, my child is in a higher grade, she is missing out on classes. What will happen? Nothing will happen. Your child was at home for so long. If your child is not well, let her or him recover completely for 7 to 10 days, and then only you send your child to school again, even if it is not COVID. These days, more than COVID and anything else, dengue cases are on the rise, and we are seeing very severe dengue cases as well in children. So make sure your child is using some mosquito protection before going to school. It is very easy to blame the school and say that school should have mosquito control methods in place, but school is a vast open area. Now, you and I know, even in our homes, to completely have our home mosquito free is impossible. Similarly, to completely have a school mosquito free is not possible. So in this season, more than any other disease, I will warn you against dengue. So if you're sending your child to school, you can either make them wear full pants or track pants, which the school has, full sleeves shirt, or you can use some mosquito repellent cream. There are many available in the market, or some mosquito repellent patch, but make sure you let them have some protection against mosquitoes. And as I was mentioning, things to be checked in school, parents committee should also check for anti-mosquito measures which the school is taking. Not just your regular sanitization of the surfaces against COVID, even mosquito repellents should be available in each class. They should, from regular intervals, have some fogging or have some mosquito sprays sprayed periodically. So these things also, it is very important that you check. Coming to the vaccine for kids, there is still some time in that. Zydus Cadila Z-COVID has got approval for children 12 plus. Pfizer and Moderna already have approval for children 12 plus, but these vaccines are still not available. So Zydus Cadila's vaccine has already got the approval from Indian government, but it is supposed to be rolled out in the market and be easily available in hospitals only by mid to end of September. So once that is available, that will be an added protection for older children. And we are still awaiting the results of Bharat Biotech's vaccine in children younger than 12. Pfizer and Moderna results also for younger than 12 are awaited. So if those results are good, then yes, vaccination of the children will also be very, very important along with these other measures which I have mentioned. So don't worry, worldwide schools are open. If your child shows any symptoms, immediately isolate her or him. And again, let me emphasize that COVID in children is usually very, very mild. 99% of children don't even require any tests, they will just be fine with home treatment. So don't panic, have some faith, take the adequate precautions, visit your child's school, make sure her or his diet is up to the mark, vaccines are up to the mark, child is getting adequate rest, and send them to school. So here is wishing all of us good luck with school reopening, and let all of us have our fingers crossed that nothing should go wrong. Thank you.